Hello, and welcome to an exposing edition of the Drywall Podcast. I'm your host, Nick Harmon. We're super excited to have Drywall Shorty, a.k.a. Lydia Crowder, with us today from Bozeman, Montana. She might be a little more accessible than you think. We talk about her dad. We talk about coming up in the drywall industry, social media, her involvement with the Build Show, and how she deals with criticism on the internet.
I think all of the social media, technology, all that stuff is starting to bring people together more in an industry where we're usually not together. Like, how often do you stop by another guy's job and shoot the shit? Like, not very often. Everybody kind of just sticks to themselves. You stick with your groups, you stick with your people, and then like another drywaller comes on your job and you're like, what are you doing on here?
Hit the skids,
man. Like, get out of here. So I think
you're on the phone. You're on the phone with the GC. Hey, we okay?
Yeah, I know, right? Exactly. And that's kind of how it's seen. It's like, dude, you're moving in on my turf. This is my builders, my job. Like, get out of here.
Yeah.
Like, no, I'm not going to tell you my secrets because that's how I finish, and that means that then you can make money that I'm making.
Yeah,
because So I think it's starting to change things a lot, and I hope it's going to be making people more money, also understanding how difficult the trade actually is. Because I don't think drywall is really usually looked at as like a skilled trade. It's more like just kind of like a labor intensive trade. But
mud pigs, Lydia. We're mud pigs.
Yes. Yeah. Right. I know. But like, not everybody can do this. And it's like, it takes a long time to get good at it.
Lydia is awesome, and I'm blown away by what she's accomplished in her career. The Drywall Podcast is brought to you by Fresco Harmony. Fresco Harmony, making walls better since 2004. If you're curious about the Drywall Podcast and would like to come on and get interviewed, or you know somebody that you would like to interview, or anything, you can reach out to us at info@frescoharmony.com. You can listen to the Drywall Podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Podbean, and also YouTube. Without further ado, Lydia Crowder, Drywall Shorty. Let's get into it.
Good.
Well, welcome to the Drywall Podcast, Lydia Crowder.
Yes, thanks for having me.
AKA Drywall Shorty.
Yes.
How'd you come up with the name Drywall Shorty?
It was kind of always just a nickname. Like when I was in high school, people would always just call me Shorty, or like when I was younger, because I was so short. So it just kind of stuck. So I was like, oh, what if we put Drywall and Shorty together, and came together.
Interesting, because Shorty's a thing. There's a musician I listen to on podcast called Trombone Shorty.
Oh,
but
cool.
Shorty is actually a thing, I think, like in the hip hop world.
Oh yeah.
Might have to do some more. I may have to do a little bit more research on that. Hopefully this won't be like the typical podcast. We can be like free and say whatever we want, and maybe cuss. I don't know. Do you cuss when you're on the job site?
Yes.
You talk like a trucker.
Oh yeah. Yes.
Bad jokes, all that stuff. You kind of have to be able to do that to work in this industry, I think, a little bit.
Yeah, you do. You kind of have to be one of the guys, honestly.
But the guys with the soft skin are fun to work around because they're fun to pick on, right?
Yes.
Okay, we're on the same page. I remember drilling into dudes. I remember when I was in the union, we had these two guys that were like Christian dudes. Nothing against Christianity or all that. Like a disclaimer. They had to eat in a different area because like the journeymen that I worked around were so rowdy, like with their banter, that like they couldn't even eat around them.
That's crazy. That's just part of the job, though. I mean, you just kind of get used to the way people talk and discuss things, and it's just nobody holds back around me. So I guess I kind of take it as like a badge of honor. Maybe they see me as like one of the guys, so they're feel free to
You
talk.
dish it. You dish it too, don't you?
Oh yeah, of
Yeah.
course.
Okay. All right. If you didn't dish it, you wouldn't be able to take it.
Yeah, 20 years. Yeah, I have to dish it.
20 years. How'd you get started?
My dad, he has a drywall business.
Okay. And just tell me if my questions are stupid and cliche and like you're like, I've answered all these before. I want to answer something new. Like just be like, you can feel free to talk about whatever you want.
Okay. Sounds good.
So you're second generation.
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. My dad, let's see, he started down in Atlanta. Started with the company doing smooth wall touch-ups, and then we moved up here to Montana, and then he started his own business and then worked for a couple guys around here. And then he's had his own contracting business for, oh my God, I don't even know now. Probably like 30 some years at least. So he's been in the business for a long time.
He's still in the business?
Yeah, he still is. He's 60. Oh my God, how old is my dad? 65 or 66.
And he's still working?
Yeah, he still works.
Are you working for his company?
No, right. My
No.
husband and I have our own company,
And
but
what's
we
the
do
name?
actually do some stuff for my dad. We got,
Sure.
he's got like 4 jobs in October and he just can't do them all. So we're
No.
going to do one of them for him.
He's doing all his own work, or is he subbing it out mostly?
He does all his own work. He primarily does small stuff like remodels or small
Okay.
work.
All right.
So if he gets like a big job, he'll usually be like, hey, I need you guys to come over here and kind of tackle this one for me. I mean, one of them is like a 450 board smooth wall, smooth lid. So he's not up to do that anymore.
You're not hanging though. You guys sub that out, right?
Yes. Yeah. We have hangers.
And what about texture guys?
That's us.
You guys texture too.
Mhm.
450 board house, smooth finish, level 5. What kind of time are we looking at on that? To you and your husband.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ryan.
Yes.
Can't believe I remembered that. Crazy. Ryan, the background.
Yes.
The man behind the woman.
Yes.
Or beside the woman, as it were.
Yeah,
As it were.
yeah.
Our PC day and age.
He's the one I bounce everything off of. Like, is that a good idea? I don't know. He's kind of like my sounding board. So
like what? Like what do you bounce off, Ryan?
I'll be like, hey, I think this is a good idea for a post, or maybe we should talk about this. And then we'll
really.
Yeah.
I don't know if I follow Ryan. Like
he's not on social.
He doesn't even mess with it. He's like, you know what? I'm fine letting Lydia just have all the.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Cool. We'll get into social media too, because like obviously I'm fascinated with social media and stuff. So maybe you said, "Hey, Nick wants to do a podcast on this crazy new drywall podcast. You think I should do that?" Is that something you bounce off him?
No, I just was like, yeah, no. But what do we bounce? I'll like if I'm a little unsure about a video, I'll have him look at it, or like, I don't know if I should show maybe this technique with something, or kind of stuff like that.
Are you constantly worried about like getting shit from people, or like, you know how the drywallers are, especially on the Facebook pages? It's like they just are ruthless. And you've received, I don't know for sure, but I know you've probably received harsh criticism. Like, how do you deal with that? How do you deal with like people coming on and being like, "Nice try, woman," or whatever they might say?
Well, I'm responsible for myself and myself only.
Yeah.
So if they don't like it, then that's fine. They don't have to like it. I'm not saying you have to do things my way, or you have to like what I'm doing, and that's fine. My work stands for itself. I mean, we've been in the business for 20 years. We're constantly busy. We don't sit. We have as much work as we want.
Yeah.
So that in itself speaks volumes, I think. And that, I know what I leave my jobs like. I know the work that I do. I know the hard work I put into things. I know where my standard is, and the jobs that we turn out are perfect. So, if you don't like it, that's fine.
Yeah, you guys
but
are pretty
I'm not
good.
responsible for your feelings about me.
Yeah. And now, do you ever get caught up where you like will engage like with somebody from time to time? You can't help yourself. You get into this, and it like goes back and forth a little bit, and you're like, catch yourself, and you're like, what am I even doing arguing with this person?
There have been many times I have written out a response, and I've been like, nope,
Don't go there.
it's not even worth my time to engage with this person right now. And I delete my whole response. So it really depends on what it is. And I try to come at things with an educational perspective most of the time, because
Good.
I have contacts with companies that the normal person just doesn't.
No,
So
sure.
I can shoot off an email and be like, hey, USG, is this actually what this does? There was a really interesting one where a guy was saying that a level 5 finish was in hospitals because it made sure the germs couldn't penetrate the drywall. And I was like,
I've heard that. Absolutely.
I don't know if that's right. So I reached out to USG and they're like, yeah, we don't have any scientific information to back that up. So
well, it makes sense though, because texture catches dust.
Mm-hmm.
It's
more, they were saying it's more in the paint where you get that seal, not like from the drywall mud itself. It's more the paint that's doing the sealing.
Yeah, because we worked on Nike World Campus when I was when I was an apprentice, and up in Portland, Oregon, in Beaverton, and then also in Intel, and in the clean rooms. That's part of the clean aspect of the clean rooms too. Germs catching dust, like all of that. I'm sure it goes into the paint, but I don't know the like logistics or the scientific around that. But I do know texture does get. Here's a funny, for instance, like, you know, when you put the outlet covers back on, you probably deal with this from time to time. Like some people turn the little line up and some people turn it sideways. Well, for the longest time when we put the outlet covers back on, I would turn the line up, like, because it's like maybe I was turning it sideways. I don't know. I can't remember. There's like a way that everybody does it though. I think it's up. I think it's up in alignment with the outlet.
Okay, gotcha.
And I was turning it sideways, I think, because maybe it just looked better to me that way.
Yeah.
But at least I was turning them all the same way. And the builder was like, I was doing his own private home, and he kind of laughed at me. And I was like, well, what difference does it make anyways? He's like, well, if you turn that little line sideways, it's going to catch dust. Like, dude, get the hell out of here.
Okay.
Get out of here, dude. That's like next level. Fun fact. What else do we got? So wait, 450 board house, level 5. How long is it going to take you and your husband to complete that?
I don't know how complex it is. It's really going to depend on vaults, ceiling heights. It's just getting framed right now. So I would say it'll probably take us about a month, give or take.
Yeah. Okay. That seems pretty realistic with 2 people. That's a big house.
Yeah.
You got some vaults, a little bit of staging, like all that.
Hopefully no wrapped windows. We did one, right around COVID. That was huge. It was massive. And all the ceilings were like 12 foot, 10 foot. All the windows were full wrap, the entire thing.
Yeah. People don't understand that is a huge difference in time. We don't charge extra for that. Like I was telling Jack, I just bid a whole house in fresco harmony. All I do is fresco. Yeah. So I just did a whole house, and we'll do small jobs, big jobs, but you know, I keep him going, and it's kind of a simple formula. Yeah. But like the job that we did, I took off 50 cents a square foot because it was up to the windows. It wasn't like the windows were wrapped in trim. There was crown molding, so you don't have to cut in the ceiling wall transition. That's nice. And then the job we're on now, we're doing like extra, and the person that I did the bid for is like sort of one of those complaining about the bid, trying to haggle. That we're training like this drywall guy. We're doing something very special, and he's like, no, well, just because I sell the product, so they can train the drywall dude maybe if they want to try and save money. And I like the guy. I'm like, sure, we'll train him, but be forewarned, this one's kind of tricky. Like, and Jack and I have been speculating on whether or not he's going to be able to pull it off, because it's like door returns, bull nose. We're doing the swirl. It's kind of fancy, and then we're doing like a urethane, like a water-based urethane. So we're doing two coats of sealer and a coat of urethane. And I gave him a really good price. And like, and it's a 2-part urethane that like you kind of squirt it on and then trowel it off.
Okay. Yeah.
And it makes the wall like bulletproof because it's like an Ayurvedic clinic. So they're throwing like oil all over the wall and shit.
Okay,
So like
gotcha.
it has to have this specialty sealer, you know,
Yeah.
to be super bond. So I already made a sample and we tested, like we just drizzled some oil onto the sample and like I was like, see, and like just let it sit there forever, you know, and you could wipe it off. And anyways, that difference between that job and the other job, it's huge. It's more than 50 cents a square foot.
Yeah.
It's like it's going to take way longer and I'm going to make less money.
Yeah.
So that balance is tricky with the square footage pricing and things like that.
Oh yeah.
Sometimes.
Well, yeah. And sometimes you just don't know, like you get into it and you're like, you can see it on the blueprints or you can see it while it's being framed. But then once the board is up and there's like details, you're like, oh, I didn't think that was going to look like that. Or I didn't think that was going to turn out quite that way. Or those ceilings are way higher than I thought they were.
Yeah.
They always make changes too. There's always a little, especially with those big customs, there's always minute changes that they're making.
Yeah. Now, is it challenging for you to go in and like alter your bid after you've given a bid and you come in and you're like, dude, I didn't know we're doing reveal bead along the entire baseboard of the house. This is going to cost
that would definitely be a change. That would be we didn't discuss this.
Okay.
All right. Add on like a lot of money here.
So tell me really quick, what's the name of your company? Is it Drywall Shorty?
No, our company that we own is Trinity Drywall.
Okay. Trinity Drywall. Neat. Yeah. And you have a logo and stuff. I'll get you to send me your logo and all that.
Yeah. I think most people just know me as Drywall Shorty. So we don't really like advertise it all with our business name. It's just kind of whatever.
Maybe you should just call Trinity Drywall Shorty Drywall.
I know. I think we might change it.
DSD.
Yeah, DSD. That would work.
But Daniel Osborne is DDS.
Oh.
I think.
Interesting.
Yeah, interesting. I like branding stuff and marketing and so all that kind of stuff appeals to me.
Yeah.
Obviously I make a podcast. What a nightmare. But they're so fun. They're like so fun to talk to drywall people. And I'm so grateful that you came on the show. It's like here's like my opinion of Drywall Shorty is that she's like, you know, this is my original opinion. Oh, she's unapproachable. And even like the drywall chicks and like you can't talk to them. And then I went to Intex and it was like, nobody was talking to them. And I walked up and just talked to them and they were super sweet. And you were super sweet. And we were hanging out with Scott and, you know, looking at all his new tools. And it was super chill. And so I was a little hesitant. Well, I don't want to, you know, I want to maybe have Drywall Shorty on as the first guest, but I'm just sort of pulling people out of a hat. I don't really care. It's kind of like the characters that emerge on the Facebook pages more than anything, more so than other characters. And I'm like, I wonder what that person's really like, you know?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
And that part has been cool because you get on here and it's not like I'm just I'm mentioning something in a comment about how you're stupid. It's like, well, I can't really, we're talking. I can't really talk shit about you right now. So that part's kind of neat. And I'm not looking at text. I have like a list of questions here that I really haven't gotten into too much. I don't really do a list of questions normally. I just let the conversation go. But also I like to try new things.
Oh, sounds good.
And we kind of covered, you made time for the Drywall podcast. Have you listened to any episodes yet?
I have not listened to any episodes.
Oh my gosh.
I am like so behind on listening to podcasts and videos and.
That's right. Well, that goes into my next question because you work with Build.
Yes.
So how did that come to be? And I met a character with Build that you were with at Intex.
That would be Andy.
That would be Andy. Super nice guy. He's involved with Build. Tell me a little bit about Build and what they're up to.
Yeah. So there's Build Show, and that's Matt Reisinger, and he's been on YouTube. I don't even know how long. He's almost at 1 million followers on YouTube. So then Matt decided he wanted, I know, right?
How the hell do you get to him? I'm impressed with 100,000.
Yeah.
But like,
yeah, he's almost at 1 million. They're thinking he'll probably hit 1 million in like the next couple months.
Good for him. That is awesome.
So he started sharing just building science stuff, and he's been sharing it for a long time on YouTube. And then he wanted to start something that was a group of a lot of people that are experts in their field.
Okay.
So then they started off, I think, with 5 guys, and then it just keeps growing and growing. So then they invited me to be part of the Build Show Network, is what it's called.
Okay.
So then it's just all of us that are experts in different things, putting out weekly videos, going over whatever we want to talk about.
Okay. And I mean, are you generating revenue from that? Okay. So they pay you to be a part of it, or do you generate revenue from the content?
I generate revenue from doing videos every month. So they pay me per video. And then I have a film guy here that's local that comes and films, and then they edit it and send it to Build. Nice. And then Andy is like my, I don't know, agent. I don't know if agent's the right word. Anyway,
that's kind of what he was saying. He like kind of manages Drywall Shorty a little bit, that brand.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So if somebody wants to work with me, I send them to Andy. Andy works out the contracts, the payments, all of that stuff. And then I kind of jump in at the end. So it takes a lot off my plate, because I'm not having to go back and forth with a company for, a month, negotiating and doing all that stuff.
Well, the filming and editing, Lydia, if I had somebody to do that, I would just go on vacation all the time.
Yeah, I know, it's super nice because I don't have to edit anything. And the editorials, so we do editorials for companies, and Build Show edits all of those. So we film and they get sent to Build, and then Build puts it together, and then it gets posted on the website. So.
And I like how simple the content is. It's simple. It's straightforward. I was looking at some of I subscribed to your YouTube page. I was looking at some of your, and my apologies, but like, I know that's so awesome. So if you don't know and see our listening audience won't be able to see that. I mean, maybe but like, we'll say that like Lydia just showed me, she just crossed over 100,000 followers on YouTube. Congratulations for that. Cue the applause sound in post. That is spectacular. Now, so maybe you look at this Risinger character as like, 1 million that I'm aspiring. Me, like, I can't even fathom 100,000 followers. That is quite an achievement. Congratulations. I
didn't think it was something, I don't know. I kind of just jumped on there and started reposting content I've already posted elsewhere. I wasn't really taking it seriously, and I'm not posting on there that much, maybe like twice a week. So it's all the shorts. I've had quite a few videos go kind of like crazy on there. So it's all in the short content.
Now, have you used that yet? Drywall Shorty, Drywall Shorts, like that sort of alliteration?
No, I haven't used that at all.
Kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
I think you could use that a little bit.
Yeah, definitely.
The Drywall Short. The Drywall Short.
Yeah.
I don't know. I know. And I'm impressed too with the amount of content that you put out. And is that just, do you have the guy come to the job a certain amount of times per week? How do you work that?
So the Build Show videos, we film all in one go. So we'll make a film date and we just film 4. So it usually takes us about an hour and a half to 2 hours, and we just sit there and we just go bang, 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 and get those videos done. Because
you don't want to be like stopping constantly, pulling out the camera. Ryan doesn't want to be videoing. You get into the flow.
Yeah.
It's like, no, I'm boxing today. I'm gonna like box this whole bitch out, and like, it's happening.
Yeah, we've gotten to a point where if there's something we have to get done, we'll do it first thing before we even start, because it's just easier. That way we have it out of the way, it's done, and we know like, okay, got that obligation done, now we can get to work.
Right. Because I do lots of cool stuff that should be filmed, but I'm just never filming because I'm like, I want to get it done. I don't want to mess with filming.
Yeah.
Yesterday I was doing, I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but there's a little tool that mixes paint into caulking.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. It's called Create a Color. And so it comes with a special caulking tube, and you pull the back off of it, and there's a little tool that screws on, and then you put in 15 cc's of the whatever match paint, and you mix the caulk, and then you go to the job, and like the client had like, there was a little gap next to the door in the Fresco Harmony, so I matched the color caulk with the Fresco Harmony color, because we also have matched paints. And I was like, I should have filmed this whole fucking thing.
It's
because it's interesting.
Yeah. We try and just kind of like throw the phone up, or just do like as many short things as we can, because it's way easier to film less than a minute of content than it is to film like 5 minutes of content.
Yeah.
So it's how do we make it so it fits in our work schedule, but then it's still interesting, but then short enough it's grabbing people's attention.
Yeah.
So I think that's probably the trickiest thing, is keep it short, keep it informative, and be able to get it and then still get your work done.
Yep. Another, because I have you for like an hour. I can ask you any.
Yeah.
I definitely have a couple of annoying people that I've gotten into it. Has it gone so far where you've had to like maybe block someone, or like somebody's bugging you so much and they're just like trolling you like mad?
Yeah, I've just gotten to the point where like if somebody's like continually on or commenting like 5, 6, 7 times in a row, I'm just being super rude, I'm just like, don't block. Like I used to like give people like chance after chance and like try and talk to them and work through it. And now I'm just like, no, you're just going to get blocked. Like,
you're nicer than I am. Like I'll answer a question if you have a question about what I'm doing, but if you're coming on just saying that's bullshit, you're stupid. It's like,
nobody's got time for that. Yeah.
And I'm not even going to engage at that point, or I don't want to,
I try and explain most of the time, like what our process is, because some people might not understand, like running one of probably like the most misunderstood and hated videos ever, especially on Facebook, is running windows with the angle box. So there's a tool that you put on the angle box to run your bead. So it does your, put your mud on your outside corners, and then you install your bead after. People don't understand what it is doing. And like I've explained, they're like, oh, why would you? That's so stupid. Just do it by hand. I'm like, no, you guys aren't understanding. We've got like 50 windows in this house. This speeds up the process for us immensely. I'm not going to go around and install 50.
No, like when you're putting on tape on bead, it like squirts the mud onto the corner, like instead of like running that corner. No, I get that. I would get that. I would bust that tool out and clean it for like 4 windows.
I know, right? It really saves so much time. And it's like, people just are like, it's messy. And it's like, well, you're also running mud through an angle box through a small tool. You can't be running real thick mud with that. Like, yeah, it might be a little drippy, but I'll tell you, you can walk into a job and you would never be able to tell how we installed that bead. Cause like, it's like trying to get like through that process with people.
Yeah.
Like,
guys,
it's just drywall. It's going to be messy sometimes. We're literally putting wet, slippery mud on a wall. Like,
it blows me away that you would get shit for that. But then also like not running the tools blows me away too, which, we can get into that. I mean, God bless the non-tool runners and the proud the proud holdouts.
I know, right? I don't know if it's regional. Like, I don't know if it's more East Coast, West Coast thing, because West Coast, everybody's running tools. You rarely run into a hand finisher out here.
I was in the union, they were running the tools. And then like I kept wanting to run the tools, but they wouldn't let me, because I was slow and sucky because I was an apprentice. And they were like, get away from me, say names and like, go carry that water, but go get me more water.
Yes,
look for the
right. Always water,
or whatever.
Yes.
And then, and then the bucket wouldn't be clean enough or whatever, union guys are like really picky, like clean mixing. But it was good because I learned very good techniques.
Yeah.
I remember when I was first learning, I had the water bucket like this far away from the mud bucket, and I was taking the water back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
And the German kicked that bucket right up next to the stop slopping water, like, and it taught me to be like super hyper clean. Hence, like I just commented on the rug on my mixing area.
Yes.
So when you're using a mixing area, you use a piece of old sheetrock, it gets all chewed up and nasty and wet. Dude,
Yeah.
a little chunk of carpet, it absorbs all that water and it prevents your buckets from slipping. It's like the
Nice.
best
That's
thing.
sweet. I've never done that before. We'll have to
It
do that.
it works like a champ, and it keeps
Yeah.
it keeps everything tidy and super clean. Your
Yes.
bucket's not like sliding all over, and it's not all, you know how the mixing area gets gummy.
Yeah. Yeah, it does. Yeah. You kind of like drop mud here and there. You got water on the floor. It's ripping up the board, and then your
Yep.
bucket rips up the board. Yeah.
Yep. So when I moved, I moved from Portland to Arizona, they were still running the tools down in Arizona.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until I went up to Colorado that they were running the box tools, but they were running the banjo. And I
Okay.
was like, oh, well, in the union, they only ran the banjo for like fire taping and to train the apprentices. Like that was
Yeah.
like a, you know, they didn't really, but these guys were taping houses with the banjo. Like it was serious business.
Interesting.
2 banjos. And
Oh,
then they were fast. Like
yeah.
I still was faster with the bazooka, but you know, people will debate that all day long, but you run the bazooka.
Yes. Yes. I'm not as good as Ryan is. Like he's really good, but I can
Okay.
do it.
Let's
but I'm
get
just
some.
not
How come we don't have any footage of Ryan running the bazooka?
we do.
You do? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. We'll have to post that. We'll have to post a little Ryan. I love watching good bazooka people run the
Yeah.
bazooka. It's
Yes.
kind
No,
of fun.
he's really good.
It's a weird like satisfaction thing.
Yes.
That
No, he's
fly's
really good at
still bugging you?
it. I have like roses right next to me, so they're just kind of hanging out like right next to me.
It's an imperfect world,
I know.
Lydia.
I know. They've actually been really good this year. We haven't had like a lot of bugs, but I don't know why that they're all out right now. And we have to be outside with our dogs. We have 2 German Shepherds, and when we get home, the first thing we have to do is go outside and sit out back with them and watch them run around the yard.
Yeah.
But we have to have the door open so they can come inside, outside, inside. So we
Yeah.
always end up with bugs.
You have a
everywhere.
dog door?
No, we have this like a French door.
A French door.
Yeah, I wish we had a slider because then we could do a dog door. But
Yeah. Yeah, we have a dog door. She runs up. We have a Labradane.
oh, what?
It's
Is it a
black-
lab and a Great Dane?
Yeah. She's the goofiest dog. And on
Oh.
Instagram, there's a hashtag Labradanes of Instagram. You got to check it out. They are
That would be like my dream dog. I've always wanted a Great Dane. We have
She's very smart and she's
Yeah.
like majestic, and then she's like super goofy. Like she got all the like Great Dane goofiness, but she's
oh,
like
yeah, that's so
very
fun.
smart and she's super protective.
Yes.
She's a riot.
She sounds hilarious.
Yeah, she is.
I want one. That's
But we
like
have a big dog door out the garage, and then she can go out anytime she wants. So
oh, nice.
yeah,
Yeah.
she rules the roost. I was just talking to Jack this morning. My guy Jack sort of vets all of the content kind of. He's kind of a podcast guy. And that was the other question I was going to ask you. He's kind of a podcast guy, but he really liked the Chad Hesher podcast, and I appreciate his opinion because we talked more about like tools and technical stuff. So I was trying to go there a little bit more with you. Some
Yeah.
people will just go on tangents. The Ian Crosby Masterpiece Finishers podcast just launched today.
Oh,
And
nice.
it's good. It's like
Yeah.
he's up in West Virginia, and it's super nice guy, and he's like a mandolin player, and he runs.
Oh, wow.
And really cool dude. But yeah, and then I talk about plaster and stuff with him. But so the podcast, what type of podcast do you listen to? I mean, there's not a lot of drywall podcasts out there, so I'm guessing you must be listening to like a bit more build oriented podcasts, or what do you like?
I'm not really a big podcast listener because I feel like
Yeah.
I don't have headphones at work. I just have a big radio.
Oh, okay.
Headphones, I don't know why. They always like hurt my ears. By the end of the
Yeah.
day, I'm like, oh my God, my ears are killing me.
Yeah, yeah.
So I just like throw on Spotify or Sirius XM and just jam out at work.
Frank Zappa.
Yeah. Whatever I'm in the mood for.
What do you
like,
listen?
light grunge or
Okay, yeah.
yeah, dude, seriously. Yeah, I guess you need to move those flowers. I had listened to like hard rock, 90s
Yeah.
Dance music. I don't know.
I'm from Washington, so yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I was back in that age. So, okay, here's a question for you. Soundgarden, Pearl Jam, Alice in Chains, Nirvana. Give me the best to least best.
Oh man, I love Soundgarden. I like really fell in love with all of their stuff. I'm so sad about Chris Cornell. Like he was so talented.
Well, and he's kind of a heartthrob.
Yeah. So I think I would go Soundgarden, Nirvana.
Okay.
And then and then there was Pearl Jam, and then what was the other one?
Alice in Chains.
Yeah, and then I think I'd go Pearl Jam and then Alice in Chains.
My thinking about the podcast was that drywall, the way they engage the same with like the drywall groups, that they would have that type of interest, and it's kind of going there. We're getting we're getting follows every day, which is really unique because Fresco Harmony has always been challenging to market. Yes, it's new and different, but it's like so different. I did not anticipate the reluctance, to try something new. Like that whole aspect of the drywall industry, like just really hit me sideways. Like, cause maybe I was just too like more innovative for my time or whatever, but I've been doing it for 17 years now. It's crazy, part of me is sad that I don't get to play with all the new tools, but the Drywall podcast being more drywall oriented, it's been cool that it's been capturing some interest, like out of the gate.
I think all of the social media technology, all that stuff is starting to bring people together more in an industry where we're usually not together. Like, hey, how often do you stop by another guy's job and like, shoot the shit? Like not very often, everybody kind of just sticks to themselves. You stick with your groups, you stick with your people. And then like another drywaller comes on your job and you're like, what are you doing on here?
Yeah.
Like,
hit
get
the
off
skids.
Like get out of here. So I think
you're on the phone. You're on the phone with the GC. Hey, we okay?
Yeah, I know, right? Exactly. And that's kind of how it's seen. It's like, dude, you're moving in on my turf. This is my builders, my job. Like, get out of here.
Yeah.
Like, no, I'm not going to tell you my secrets because that's how I finish, and that means that then you can make money that I'm making.
Yeah.
So I think it's starting to change things a lot, and I hope it's going to be making people more money, also understanding how difficult the trade actually is. Because I don't think drywall is really usually looked at as like a skilled trade. It's more like just kind of like a labor intensive trade. But
mud pigs, Lydia. We're mud pigs.
Yes. Yeah. Right. I know. But like not everybody can do this. And it's like, it takes a long time to get good at it.
I was at a party in Santa Fe, kind of a hoity-toity sort of event. My brother-in-law, he's big in the magazine world up in New York, and he started a magazine called Santa Fe Magazine.
Oh, cool.
And my sister-in-law, his sister writes screenplays, and they're kind of with the in crowd in Santa Fe. There's a whole dynamic between Santa Fe and Albuquerque. It's kind of funny. Okay. Albuquerque being the more ghetto of the two cities.
Yes.
Santa Fe being, the art, whatever. And I was talking to this one lady that writes plays, and her husband has this whole weed thing, but he's an actor, and they're both really cool people. And we were talking about the podcast, and I was like, it's a drywall podcast. She was like, drywall, and she said something that like solidified exactly what you're saying, like that this trade is like super underappreciated. And I laughed, but I dove right into that, like, oh, that's interesting, like almost sometimes painters get more respect. And to me, it's that always blows me away, that how much painters make, no shame, but like they make good money for going in and painting a house, when drywall is like, to me, 10 times harder. I don't know. I mean, am I wrong?
No, I think the biggest thing is it's so hard on your body. Like people don't understand how difficult running the tools are, holding a pan or a hawk in your hand all day. The skills it takes to be able to walk on stilts and do all of the things that we do that make it look so easy. And then they try it and they're like, oh, and I think it kind of almost gets a bad rap too, because it's messy. We kind of can be a little bit messier of a trade, and it kind of picks up, what am I trying to say here? Getting started is cheap. Essentially, you could buy a pan, a knife, a bucket, and a mixing paddle, and you could go finish. So I think it kind of gets those people that are kind of don't know where to go or where they fit in the trade. So they're like, I don't know, I'll just try drywall. And then some are good and some are bad. There's a lot of bad drywall out there. And there's good drywall out there, but I think
and a lot of crackheads, for lack of a better word.
Yeah. And a lot of alcoholics, a lot of guys that don't show up, a lot of people that, you know, flake off or have to get half of their paycheck before they even start, or like, sorry, I couldn't make it in today. My car didn't start, you know, but that's kind of construction in general. But I think things are starting to change. It's kind of like the trades are having a little bit of like a renaissance moment of, you can be professional, you can be respectful, you can be a small business owner, you can, you know, have all of these things that you've dreamed of having in construction, and you can do well at it. Just getting more organized, you know, like
changing of the guard maybe too. Younger, I mean, although there's less younger people coming up, you know, the older, more resistant crowd is sort of graduating out. And
I think, you know, our generation was, you are only going to be successful if you go to school. You have to go to college. What are you going to do with your life? Work in the trades. And there's this whole generation that did go to school and they hate it.
And they went to school, and then they like, I two of the dudes I work with in Colorado had college degrees. Hanging board. It's you get so much satisfaction out of it. Like yesterday, it was like 95 degrees in the house. We're all just dripping sweat everywhere. You're working your butt off. But man, it's like when you get done at the end of the day, you really feel like you accomplished something, and it feels satisfactory. And you might not want to move off the couch, and like, you're like, oh my God, but it's like, you can't get that anywhere else. It's like, I don't know. It's addicting, honestly. And I think that's why people have wood shops and things like that in their houses, or they're doing remodeling projects because they love it and it's fun. So did you know you were going to be in the drywall trade? Your dad was doing drywall. You kind of looked up to him. You were like, I want to do that. I want to follow in the old man's footsteps.
I had always helped him out when I was younger. Like we would go on jobs, spot screws, clean, scrape, just kind of help move him around on scaffolding, you know, just kind of like random stuff when I was younger. And then I graduated high school, and then what's funny is my cousin worked for my dad, and then my roommate at the time also worked for my dad, and my cousin and my roommate were best friends. So I moved in with him, and then we were both going to college, and then I would help him on the weekends work for my dad. So we would go and, like, you know, say he was working on a duplex or something, I would go with him, and then we'd all work together. And then I went for a semester to college, completely flunked out, partied way too much. And was like, this is stupid. Why am I?
Well, college is good for partying, that's for sure.
Oh yeah. We lived close to campus, so it was a fun time. But yeah, and I was just working like a retail job, and I didn't like it. I had to start at like 5 o'clock in the morning because it was at the airport. And I was like, I'm 18. I don't want to be like,
this is all in Bozeman, or you went to college in Bozeman. What was it?
So Montana State University.
Okay. All right.
And so I just kind of didn't know what I was doing with my life. And my dad was like, do you want a job? And I was like, yeah, sure. Because I'd already been helping my roommate out, and it just kind of just fit. And
that worked pretty well.
Yeah, it worked out really well. So he didn't let me off easy, though. That's for sure.
No.
Like,
made you work your way up, gave you raises and stuff. So you started low, and so when you peeled off from him, how long did you work for him before you started Drywall Shorty Drywall?
So
DSD.
Oh man, I've been working for my dad for about a year when I got Ryan a job working for my dad. So we both worked for my dad. So I was 19, I think, and he was 20 or 21. He must have been 20. I'm trying to remember back because I started when I was 18, and then I think he was 20 when he started with my dad, but we were
And
dating.
Ryan
like,
was new?
Yep. Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
So he was kind of like my apprentice for a while. Like,
Oh, lovely.
I was in charge of teaching him how to do stuff. So that was fun.
Yeah.
And then we had a great crew that we had probably 5 or 6 guys at that time, maybe. Like, we did a lot in a big subdivision here, and the houses were all huge, custom. So, my dad was just kind of at that point the runaround guy, dropping materials off, making sure everything was organized, and then we were all the ones getting the work done. And it was such a great crew that everybody was so fun. And
well, you were probably good apprentice, and then Ryan was good apprentice, and then which they appreciated, and then that's makes such a difference to have cool dudes that you work around and you can go play poker and hang out with after work and drink beers and whatever. That's a big deal.
It is. And it made it a great learning environment because they all treated me equally and fairly, and they would take the time to explain things to me, which was awesome. And, that's such a huge part of it. Like, if nobody's explaining or teaching you how to do things, you're never going to get any better. Yeah. And you're just going to sit there and be stagnant in a trade. And it's why stay there.
And that energy on the Facebook groups too, that like, don't ask any questions on here. Otherwise you're going to get bombarded by why are you on here asking questions? It's like,
because sometimes you just got to ask a question. There's nothing wrong with that. Yeah. It blows me away.
Yeah. The square footage questions, what makes me so like, they don't bother me at all because I remember asking my boss in Crested Butte, like, about square footage. That was always confusing to me. Like, how do you bid the job? That's an interesting question, especially if you don't know or have never done it. And it's not rocket science. It's like, we just charge square footage. You just take the length and the width of a wall and you multiply those numbers together, and that's your square footage. And then you can charge whatever square footage you think is necessary. So that wall is 100 square feet, it's going to take X amount of time to do. And you can, you can even do easier than that and be like, I was like, what do you charge per square foot? And, back then, I think that was around 18 years ago, he was at $1.30.
Oh, wow.
In Crested Butte, Colorado, high-end custom homes, big old homes. And there was a plaster company that came in from Phoenix called Hopper Finishers. And my boss, for the most part, kept me off the job because he knew I was up to like coloring mud and like these types of things. And they were all secretive with their methods. Yeah. And my boss and the crew were like, they're like mice in the corner, like learning all the little tricks. Because we ended up doing the downstairs, like the contractor hired us to do the downstairs, and they were getting $12 a square foot. And I was like, oh, I'm in the wrong trade. That was the instant thought that I had, was like, I need to be doing specialty walls. And that's why I shifted. And it's still that way. That way. I mean, I'm at like $350 a square foot, $250. I just bid a whole house at $250, which is still a lot of work for that square footage price. But they're still getting like $10, $12 a square foot for like American clay variants, some of these specialty acrylic finishes, and they have to, because it's a pain in the ass.
Oh, it's so much. It's so much work. Not only that, you have to be running a decent sized crew, so you're not running into cold joints, and you're keeping everything fresh, and you're working fresh plaster and fresh plaster, and like it's not easy. Like, we've done some, and some jobs have gone really well, and some jobs have not gone so great. So it's kind of one of those things, like it stresses me out, and we're just like not set up for it. Like Ryan and I, like, we can't go in and bang out a big house. Like, we would be there forever. Because it's so labor intensive. But there is a really cool guy around town that has a pretty big plaster company, and he does beautiful work. He does a lot of Tattalact, I think is how you say it.
Tattalact.
Yeah. And
then Ian Crosby, the episode that dropped today, we talk about Tattalact a little bit. He's familiar with it.
Yeah. So Jeremy is his name, and he owns New Age Artisans. And I think he's got, I don't even know how big his crew is, but he's got a decent amount of women on his crew too. So it's super cool. But they're doing these super, super high-end Yellowstone club houses. I mean, I don't even
Nice.
know what they're charging a foot, but he's really set up to do that. And he's been in the Valley for a long time. He's a super nice guy.
He's the one that should be throwing up the Fresco Harmony.
Yeah.
Like we gotta get him rolling with the Fresco.
Yeah, he uses limestone.
Limestrong.
Yeah.
I think I've heard of that.
Yeah, the guy that did it, he's out of Salt Lake City. And then he was a plasterer for, I think, about 15 or 20 years, and then started making his own plaster.
Okay.
So it's a lime-based plaster.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, I think it's pretty new. I think he just came out with it maybe the past couple of years.
Nice.
Yeah.
He came out with what?
Limestrong, the company.
That's his own like product?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. And he's out of Montana?
No, he's out of Salt Lake City.
He's
His
out of
name
Salt
is
Lake.
Ryan. Yeah.
He's out of Salt Lake City. His name is Ryan Limestrong. Yeah. Ryan sells to Jeremy.
Yes.
The product out of Salt Lake City called Limestrong. Okay.
Yeah. Our local lumber and supplies place carries it too.
Okay. Well, yeah, they're supplying a dude up there. That's cool.
Yeah, it's super cool.
Where do you get your supplies at and stuff?
Wherever, pretty much. I mean, there's the Kenyon Noble, Steelers, Northwest Drywall Supply.
Okay.
Kind of just depends on who has what we want.
Sure.
So it just depends on who's got the latest truck in.
Okay.
Really.
All right.
Home Depot, Lowe's, kind of just, we don't have a lot of options. We've got 2 drywall specialty stores, but they also do metal framing and all that, those kind of supplies too, and roofing and stuff. So it kind of just depends on who's got what at the moment, where you can find it.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
Very cool. And so going back to you starting with Ryan, that was kind of an interesting vein. Working with your husband, do you guys ever get at each other's throats? Is it like too much time? He seems like such a cool dude, and you seem like super laid back, like so. But does it get stressful sometimes working with your significant other? You guys are together a lot.
Yes, we're together all the time, but it's good because we like really have a flow. Like we walk on a job, we both know exactly what we're doing, and there's no arguing about it. But it took us a while to get there. It really did.
Oh,
I was very strong-headed. He was strong-headed, and we both wanted to do things our way. And we would be like, no, I would be like, no, that's freaking stupid. And he'd be like, no, I want to do it this way. Like, for example, we used to hand sand smooth walls because he didn't like using a sanding pole because he thought it scratched. So we would legit go through with sanding sponges and detail sand an entire job. And I eventually got to the point where I'm like, this is fucking stupid. Like, stop. Like, this is dumb. I'm done doing this. Yeah. And so we've both had to like feed off of each other and kind of like come to agreements with things like, if I'm shorter, so it's better for me to get up on stilts when we do angles because they turn out better. But I'm stubborn and I don't necessarily want to do that. But if the product turns out better, and just kind of both working together to make a better product, but also respecting each other's abilities, if that makes sense.
Yeah, anyway, it takes time to dial in a partnership like that.
Yeah. I mean, we're great now. We have exact things that we do, but it's not like we don't, we still get into arguments on the job, but we have days where it's just
you don't talk.
So many pressures from home. I'm
gonna go into this room back here, Ryan, and you know what, I'm probably gonna eat lunch back there today too.
I know, right? I just need to be by myself right now, but there's been plenty of times where I've been like, you know what, I'm just like not in the mood for this today, or like we just kind of we'll get in arguments and things, but we have to work it out because the job has to get done. So so I think it's been stronger in that way because we do have to work through whatever our differences are, because we still
you guys are married, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How long have you been married?
We just had our 17th year yesterday.
17th anniversary?
Yeah, 17th anniversary.
Congratulations. Yesterday, huh?
Yeah, it was yesterday.
What did you do?
We didn't do anything. We worked.
Oh my gosh.
and sweated and textured all day. And then
You heard it here first. Drywall Shorty. She's not just she's not just she's not just making videos. She's out there. She's out there busting ass.
Yes.
Every day. Super cool. Yeah, we had Christy Slade on too. Christy Slade was the second.
Oh man, I love Christy. She's so sweet.
Oh my god, yeah, she's a doll. Yes, which is the most important. If you had a pearl of wisdom you could bestow on the drywall community, locally, globally, nationally, what would you say? What would you say to all the crazy drywallers out there listening in?
Don't be afraid to try something new. The industry has changed a lot. There's so many different formulas, products, tools coming out. I think we automatically think that somebody's trying to sell us something or hawk their crap on us, or it can be such a negative trade, when in actuality, the people that are most likely making these products like Fresco Harmony or some of the other specialty products, they're just drywallers that are trying to make the industry better. And I think we're so quick to like jump down their throats and be like, stop selling me your snake oil, when in actuality, it's just another drywaller trying to make the industry better, and just, give it a chance and see what happens. I mean, worst case, you're out, $50 or whatever. It's not the end of the world. Yeah. So
it's your brother and sister, like out there trying to do something cool.
Yeah, just trying to make it better, trying to do something different. So and I think we're all such negative Nellies sometimes that you just shut people down before they even get started.
Love it. That's my favorite. Speaking of new tools, there's a couple new tools. The Tech Dry tool. Have you tried that out yet?
No, I haven't.
Corey Fisher with this a little knife that you.
Yeah, I've been seeing that around. Yeah, that's
they're cool. They're cool. I got a couple of them. They're kind of neat. My instinct was to go get my plastic knives, but I was like, no, that I have all three sizes in this one little tool.
Yeah,
I'll just grab that and set it on the kitchen counter while I'm working in this bathroom.
Yeah.
And I used two different sides of the blade, and that was all I needed. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, it sounds perfect.
And the other one is Mike with the yellow jacket, the mixing stand. That one's kind of interesting.
I haven't seen that one either.
All right, I'll share it with you. It's kind of cool. It's
like cool.
It's a mixing stand that the bucket sits on, and like you can leave your drill sitting there. It won't tip over.
Oh, that's nice.
It holds your bucket from spinning. So
cool.
Very
Sounds
cool.
Needed. I don't know. There's so many solutions. Like, you'll be at work and be like, why hasn't somebody invented this, or struggling with this, or just simple things. And I think people are just trying to make the industry better, not steal your money from you. So
there's another one too. Shane is going to be on the show next week. He made the Renegade. It's a scaffold solution.
Oh yep, I've seen those. Yeah.
What do you think of that one? Now you're in the field a lot, and you're in stairwells a lot, and that sort of thing. What's your take on that? Speak freely.
I think it would be good, depending if you have like a big open staircase you can't set ladders up in safely, because I know you have to screw those into the wall. So I guess my thinking is you got to put it up, but then you got to repair the holes that you just screwed in. So then you're making yourself extra work. But maybe in a place that you would be building a platform anyway, it would save time. But like for just a simple stairwell, I don't see it really being cost effective.
Right.
But I would say if you're doing, like a 3-story stairwell that's open right down the center and there's no other way to get there, then that makes sense.
Well,
but
I'm going to dig in with Shane and find out just why he invented that tool on the next episode. You're number 15.
Oh, wow.
Lydia. I know, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Lydia Crowder, Trinity Drywall. Maybe to be Drywall Shorty Drywall, who knows? Thank you so much for being on the Drywall Podcast today. We really appreciate your time and energy, and we'll talk to you soon.
Sounds good.
All right, you have a good day.
Thanks, you too.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Special thanks to Lydia Crowder for being on the Drywall Podcast today. We appreciate your time and your expertise in the drywall industry. To help take us out, the Dark Lord himself, the devil.
Thank you, Nick. Always a pleasure being on the Drywall Podcast. I absolutely loved this last interview you did. Thanks for having me, and back to you.
Don't mention it, devil. Always a pleasure to have you on the Drywall Podcast. The Drywall Podcast is brought to you by Fresco Harmony. Fresco Harmony, making walls better since 2004. If you're interested in trying Fresco Harmony free, you can email us at info@frescoharmony.com and we'll send you one. We hope you guys have a fantastic day, and remember, keep drywalling.